Hello, my name is YLAM, and today we're going to be looking at the Connex ProSight system. This is the HD FPV system that Connex has been advertising for quite a while now. We just got this in. We're going to go ahead and open it up, give you our initial thoughts, and then we're going to put it on a quad and see how this actually works. So let's go ahead and open this up. This is the actual production version, so this isn't actually the test version like a lot of videos out there already have. So go ahead and slide this out. Nothing about this. And then here we go. So the first thing on top in very good close-held foam is the actual ground station. So this is what the ground station looks like. Again, it has 5 inputs for the antennas. On this side, what we can see is the USB cable, a full-size HDMI port, looks like the power plug, an adapter, looks like a 1/4 for a tripod, which is kind of nice, so you can just stick it on top of any standard tripod. 3 buttons, yes. 3 buttons and then 2 LEDs. Not sure what they do yet, as this is the first unboxing of it and this is the first time I've touched it, but that's what the ground station looks like. If you look at the size of my hand, it's actually fairly small, so it's not too bad if you want to carry it around in a backpack. Just the foam. We got some stickers. And then we have an instruction booklet out here showing you how to connect the FPV system onto your quad. And it looks like they have connection points to where they would want to mount the VTX securely, which is kind of unusual for a VTX, but that might be a good idea. And then they have mounting spots for the actual antenna themselves. But as far as I know, I don't know what this quad is or this quad frame is, but it seems like they have intentions of building purpose-built frames for this type of FPV system, which seems to be a very good idea. On the other side, you have an example of what it looks like. Now they haven't mounted this VTX right where the flight controller used to be, so I'm assuming that the flight controller will either go below it or above it, but not sure what that quad frame is. It would be interesting to see what that one specifically is and who makes it. Instruction manual with probably all of the warranty information. And then in here, we actually have the FPV system that's actually going to be going onto your quad or your multi-rotor. This right here looks to be the camera. It has a rubbery, I guess a rubbery cover to protect the camera front. Is this removable? Yes, this is definitely removable. I'm not going to try to remove it right here, but that's the camera right here. Here's the connection point, a lot bigger than what we're normally used to. And then here are the 2 screw slots for the screws. Hopefully they fit into a standard millimeter that's going to be you know, like the same size as an HS 1177. That way we don't have to make any modifications, but we'll figure that out shortly. Here's the actual FPV VTX, and definitely a lot larger than what we're used to. It's actually got some heft to it, and it feels like it's really well made. Feels like it's real quality, but what we're really interested in is whether or not this is going to be durable. So that's going to be tested pretty soon, and we're probably going to hear plenty of feedback from people on whether or not this is actually durable, because you're looking at adding an extra $300 to your quad when you add this FPV system and the camera. So quite expensive. It's almost the cost of a new quad nowadays. This is the actual antenna that comes with it. It looks fairly large, but when you match it up to say like a regular size antenna, it's not too much larger, but it's definitely going to be a lot heavier. And there's going to be limited amount of ways where you can mount this. The bottom half of this, they really thought it out really well, is made out of rubber, so it can easily flex and bend. So during crashes, it has plenty of places where it can bend to remove some of that energy and help try to support this upper rigid section up here. As you can see, there's a wire right here that runs to probably the antenna system right here. Definitely probably want some electrical tape to really wind around that, protect that wire, because I don't think you want to buy a new antenna system anytime soon. Not even sure if you can, to be honest with you. So definitely want to protect this wire, wrap it up so that it doesn't get cut by a propeller or get snagged on something and then torn apart. But overall, looks pretty good. It has 2 wires coming out that'll go to your VTX. Let's see, where are the wires go to? Oh, these 2 slots right here into your VTX. All right. Let's see what else is in here. Down underneath here is all of your wiring that they're going to give you. So let's take a look. Okay, this wiring, I have no clue what it goes to. I'll have to read about it. USB cable. More wiring that, this looks like wiring that's going to go to power, to power your VTX. This is definitely a wire to go to your camera. There we go. Plug to power your ground station. Another plug that I'm not sure where it goes to just yet. HDMI cable. So this is going, oh no, this is a USB cable. So this is another USB cable to go from a mini to a standard size USB. Mounting hardware that they give you. This looks like it's for the camera. This is mounting hardware for your VTX. Oh no, this is the mounting hardware for your antenna. And then mounting hardware for your VTX. If you actually have a frame that would actually allow you to mount these, because I don't think I've seen any frames with these specific screw slots. Okay, try not to break it before I actually get a chance to use it. Here is a mount for your ground station. Okay. Your 5 whip antennas. One thing that would be interesting to note is whether or not you actually want to upgrade to different antennas than the standard whip antennas that come with this. I know a lot of people are probably going to do some experimenting with that. It'll be interesting to see. And then underneath here is a full-size HDMI. Full-size HDMI on one side, and it goes to a mini on the other side. So this is good for your Fat Shark. So full size to your ground station, and the mini can go up to like your Fat Shark goggles, like yeah, Fat Shark goggles. And that is everything that's in the box. So you get quite a lot of stuff for your $500, but it still costs $500, and $300 of that is going onto your quad. So there's a pretty big investment when it comes to actually investing in the system, and you're putting a lot of that investment in danger because it's actually on the quad, and as you crash, everything breaks. That's just life. They actually, looks like they reinforced this camera really well, so hopefully this camera actually lasts a while. Same for the VTX. We really don't know much about the durability of this, but I'm sure we'll find out as we put this on a quad and we let other people fly it. So it's been a few days and we got everything together. So this is what our build's gonna look like, just based on parts that we had lying around. So what we have here is a QAVR. This is the extra large frame because the size of the inner is much larger than the regular size QAVR. Now, one thing that we did is we actually built a double decker. We actually have 2 top plates in order to fit the VTX up here. If this particular frame didn't have a power cube already installed on here, the VTX could have easily fit in between these 2 spacers. So a QAVR, the extra large version, will actually be a good candidate for this particular setup with the large VTX, the antenna, and the camera system. So just that's the reason why we actually added an extra top plate to it, is because the power cube was already there, and I didn't really feel like removing that and installing an entire new electronic set into this particular frame. So I'll just go back from front to back. The camera, as you can see, is can be installed onto the front using the provided bracket. This particular camera has the same form factor width-wise as an HS1177, so you can use a standard camera plate holders. The only issue with that is that if you look right here, the screw that goes into the camera is really low on the actual camera mounting. So what we found was that if we wanted to use the standard QAV plates, it didn't provide enough tilt because the camera was so high above. It was already kind of riding right next to the top plate. So we had to scrap that, and we had to use the provided plate, and then we double-sided taped it down and then put some Velcro in there to secure it down. It would have been nice if there were multiple screw threads on the actual back of the camera plate, in which we can actually have options on where to mount this. This would be beneficial to mounting it to a frame that already exists. It already fits since it's the same form factor as a HS1177. It's just that the screw threads is rather low on this camera. Now if you look up front, the rubber is actually kind of large, so we had to actually squeeze it in between the spacers. This might cause some issues with you seeing the rubber sides on the actual FPV screen or goggles, but for what we're doing right now, just to try to get a quick build together, it's fine. I can trim the sides of this to make it fit better, but right now this is actually kind of adding support to the cameras, and as a first build it'll work. One gripe that I do have about the current setup is that the camera wire, which you can see here, that's the white camera wire, is really short. That's the reason why the HS1177, or not the HS1177, but the VTX is mounted so close to the camera, is because the camera wire is really short. I contacted Connex to see if there was anything wrong if I were to lengthen this cable, and their answer was they didn't know, and if you tested it, let us know what it did. For me, since this is going to be the first time we have out, I didn't really want to modify that cable if I didn't have to, so I placed the VTX close enough to use the standard length cable. It's really short, it's about this long, and it's basically half as short as all the other cables that are provided in the Connex system, which is quite annoying. So be aware of that. It will definitely restrict your choices on where you put that VTX. In the back over here, we already kind of talked about me squeezing the VTX in the middle to account for the length of the screw, and also just for the form factor. This was the only space that was actually lengthwise long enough to fit a VTX. I did have to stick it out a little bit on this side because the plugs were a little bit taller, and I didn't want to make the top plate any taller than it had to. So I'd rather stick it out on one side than to make the spacing for this double-decker taller. So that's the reason why it's sticking out to one side. It's just a choice. I don't think this is going to be together for a super long period of time. We just wanted to get something together to test with. Moving to the back, this is the antenna holder. The antenna holder is really well designed in that the bottom half is all rubber, and it's also hollow in the middle, so it's very easily movable and bendable. There are screw slots intended to use screws for like a specified frame that actually knows the dimensions of this antenna. But for us, there were enough slots in the QAV frame to where we can actually zip tie it down. So we're pretty happy with that. We might use some glue to make sure that it actually doesn't move anywhere. But this isn't exactly a frame that we're going to be trying to push into small holes, as it's quite an expensive setup. So all that together, and you have a frame with the Connex system in it. Just some really quick thoughts on this. Number one thing, the size of the antenna is kind of, I mean, it is large, but the only thing that really bugs me is how tall it is. If they're able to shorten this by half, this would be a much better system, because when you're flying like this, it sticks up so far above what we traditionally expect from a camera, so, or from an antenna. So that's one of the things that is going to be a gripe, but it's something we're just going to have to deal with. Either that, or we're going to have to start seeing frames in which you can mount this onto the base plate, so that we can prevent how tall it is sticking out the back of the frame. This is the Connex system ground station that we put together. So it's a very simple system to actually set up. Right now it's on the back of a 10-inch screen. So we'll go ahead and go over the buttons that are on the actual Connex base station system. So on the right hand side, if you were facing me, what you will see is there are 2 LEDs, and then there are 3 buttons. And on this side, etched onto the plastic, is actually what each of these do. So the first one will tell you whether or not it's connected up to a VTX. So it will be a solid green when it does. Next one below that, it says record. There is actually no record functionality in this base station. This must be something that you can upgrade to. Keep in mind that Connex does have a Pro version, and that might actually be built into the Pro version ready to go. The first button on top is the menu button. So when you press this button, it'll bring you into the base station's menu system, in which you can configure your base station. Below that button is the select button. So this is how you enter menus and also select items and confirm things. And the one below it is next. So you can go forward in your screen selections, but there is no button to go backwards. So that's all of the buttons on this side. On the other side is where all of your inputs are, and it's also etched. So this one right here obviously is the HDMI cable or input. It's a full-size HDMI, and then provided with this base station, it'll go to a mini, so it'll connect directly into either an HD or the version 3 of the Fat Shark goggles, basically the white versions of the Fat Shark goggles. It'll have a connector for. For our particular screen, we have another full-size HDMI input, so we had to go get our own cable in order to connect this up. Here, the middle, the input right below that is the USB slot. It's the mini USB input, and I'm assuming that's where you're going to update your firmware. And it's also the input in which you can connect up to your VTX. And when you connect up to your VTX, that's how the base station binds to a VTX. One thing to note, and I didn't read this anywhere, is hopefully they were smart enough to where you can bind multiple VTXs into one ground station. A lot of us have more than one quad, so it would be a real pain if we had to rebind every single time we wanted to use a different quad. But I didn't see anything in the menu system to say that it's actually saved specific VTXs. So that's something that you would have to test once, like I have 2 VTXs in my inventory, and to see if I had to rebind every single time I switch quads. The last input below that is the input button, or the input plug, and this will accept 2S to 4S batteries, or you can probably just use a 12-volt input power supply in there. So right now what we have over here on that side is a 3-cell battery, and this will power the Connex system. The power cable is supplied, and it goes to on the other side. It used to be an XT60 cable. We desoldered that and put in a JST because it's easy to find cables which has one XT60 and it outputs out to a bunch of JSTs. So we just decided to cut that off and replace it with a JST. But just to let you know, there is an XT60 cable provided with this base system. Out of the box, it's already bound to your VTX, so there's really nothing you need to do except attach it to whatever station you want, connect the HDMI cable to whatever output you want, and then power it, and you are pretty much good to go. So before we actually plug everything up and show you what the image looks like, let's go ahead and go over really quickly the menu system on the base station. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug it up, and then I'm going to turn on the screen. So it's going to turn black, and then it's going to say the ProSight, and it's going to be searching for a VTX. Obviously we don't have a VTX hooked up right now, so it won't be able to find it. So if I just push the menu button on the screen, what it'll do is it'll show you the menu system for the base station. So the first one is search for drone, which we're not going to do because we don't have anything plugged up right now. The one right below it, actually I just plugged into it. So right now it's paired to 6896. So that is the current one that we're bonded to, which is the one that came in the box. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit down, and then I'm gonna exit out of that. So below that is the frequency mode, and right now we have it set to auto, but you can have 3 ProSight bands, which I don't know anything about what the bands are, so I can't tell you. All I can tell you is that there is an A, B, and C. So the next one below that is fixed frequencies. So you can select a specific frequency if you desire. This might be the A, B, and C. That's the only thing I can think of. There are plenty in the 5.8. So, and then finally we can go back. So right now we just have it set to auto. Here is the record status, which I already told you there is no record feature, so it's already grayed out. Maybe it's a future feature with the USB input. Here's the setup. So it will show you the status, which it'll show you what it's paired to, what firmware version it's on, serial number, and the link quality level, which I don't know why there's actually stuff there considering it's not linked to anything. RF region, so ham, blah, and then it'll show you power alerts, so what type of battery it's using, and alert after a certain threshold. So that's kind of nice because there is a built-in OSD to this, so you don't have to do anything special if you connect it directly to your whatever battery power supply there is. Here's the OSD, so you can go to details and it goes to views. So let's select that. You can go to race, viewer, or off. So detailed. Wonder what race is. I haven't actually fooled with that, so let's leave it on race. The other one is viewer, so if you want to watch somebody else, I assume. And then it goes to Bluetooth, which, you know, I'm not sure what Bluetooth is, I actually have to look at it. So since it's not talking to the VTX right now, this particular selection is, whoops, I hit the wrong button, but that particular selection is grayed out. But when we have it connected to the quad, we'll go back through the menu system and I'll show you what it is. But basically we can decide between quality or performance, and right now we have it set to performance. There is a distinct difference between quality and performance. The quality version definitely gives you a bit more detail. And that is everything in the OSD. So we'll go ahead and plug it up and then we will show you what it looks like. So now I have the base station turned on, ready to go. It's looking for this particular VTX. We're going to go ahead and plug it in and show you what it looks like. So it takes a few seconds and then the screen will come on. So this is what it looks like right now. Now the two little rubber things that you see on the screen is actually the top of this rubber mount right here. So we can actually kind of carve it out and it'll give us a better picture. But overall, this is the quality of the picture. And as you can see, it's pretty good quality. And this is right now set in race mode. So if you look at, let's see, if I point it right here, if you can see, can you see my hand and the one on the screen? If you watch it, so far as we can tell, it's a pretty good response time. And the only way to tell is actually to go out there and really, play with it and race with it. But it looks to be pretty good right now, and we are in a pretty small room, and the system looks to be fairly good. I don't know if it's viewable on the camera, but there is a voltage and also minutes on. Right now we have this connected up to a BEC, so it's always around 12 volts. It's not directly connected to the battery, so that's not the true voltage of this particular quad. I would have to connect it to a unbacked slot, which I'm currently not thinking of doing right now. I'm fine with not knowing the correct voltage for this particular one. So if we go back to the screen, I'll go ahead and I'll show you what it looks like to switch it over to quality mode. So if we click on the menu system again, and then we scroll down to settings, and then we scroll down all the way to camera, which is now not, it's not grayed out, and we select this, we can select the quality mode. Now when you select the quality mode, it actually reboots this VTX. Let's see. If you look right here, there's actually some buttons showing you that it's actually rebooting. So it takes a while to actually reboot it from performance mode into quality mode. But once you do that, I can notice a big difference between a normal mode and the quality mode, but that could be just me. I don't think it's a distracting difference. I think once you're flying, both qualities are already terrific, so it really doesn't matter. But the quality mode definitely it seems like it gives you quite a bit more in terms of detail, and also it tries to keep up with the lighting a lot more to try to give you that detail. So pretty interesting. So we're going to be doing a really quick test. We're going to go ahead and turn on the Connex system, and then we're going to be turning on two quads. These are kind of my regular flyers, and they're using the regular 5/8 channels. So this one will be on, I believe this one's on raceband 1, and this one's going to be on raceband 5. So we'll turn on that one, we'll turn on raceband 1, see what the two qualities are. We have the Connex system on the left, and then we have my regular base station here in the center. So let's go ahead and take a look. We'll go ahead, we'll plug in this one. Put that in the back, try to give it a little room, wait for it to come on up. So that's coming on up, and I'll turn it over here to make it look at something at least. And then this one is my regular flyer, and then I'll turn it on. This one's on raceband 1 right now, so you should see, and that beeping right now is it trying to get the best signal possible. And as you can see, it's a workable video signal, but it's definitely having to work with it considering how close this antenna is. But it's a it's a workable VTX signal, but you can tell on the left hand side, amazing detail on this side, it's a bit hazy because it's really having to power through another VTX that's on right now. But it's still workable. I mean, I can fly through that, and shouldn't be anything different from what most people already see. That's what happens when we plug in another one to really test the system. So now we have the Connex system plugged up. This one is plugged up to, I believe, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this one's connected up to 5, and it's still holding detail, which is actually pretty good detail right now. That's holding detail, so it's looking pretty good in terms of being able to fly the Connex system along with what's already out there with technology. I'm going to switch this over to 5 to see what it looks like on the other side. So hold on a second. So this should be this quad now. So this is my second quad. So the second quad on raceband 5, I mean that's very flyable. Detail is pretty normal. There's a little bit of graininess that I can tell, but it's definitely flyable. So right now we have 3 quads put together in a small room right next to each other, right next to our base stations, and it's working okay. Keep in mind though, this is the base station that we have right now is a pretty good base station, so that definitely helps if you have a really high quality base station put together. So, but it looks really good. We're definitely going to do some more testing on it and see what we can find on it. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below, and until next time, thank you for watching.